Welcome to the Business of Style podcast with me, your host, Louisa Gabriel. I'm a personal stylist and image strategist who grew a successful six-figure business, and now I'm educating and empowering other personal stylists and image professionals just like you to do the same. So please keep listening to hear the lessons I've learned and the strategies I've used along the way that are guaranteed to take your personal styling career from side hustle to six figures too. Are you thinking about adding virtual services to your personal styling business, but you're not sure if it's the right thing to do? Well, keep listening because today's show is all about virtual styling services, the pros, the cons, and figuring out if it is something that makes sense for you and for your business. So let's dive into it. Now, virtual styling has definitely seen an increase in popularity since we went through the COVID pandemic. As the entire world switched into a virtual world, it was a really great way for personal stylists to stay connected to their clients and to keep that money coming in when they couldn't see clients in person. But even as the lockdowns eased, stylists continue to offer virtual styling because it really is a great way to reach more clients and to grow your personal styling business. I personally started offering virtual services. I think it was back in around 2012. It was around the time that Skype began to become really popular as a video call platform. It was a platform I was using with my family at the time to stay connected to them as they were back in the UK. And I thought, why not use this technology to actually expand the reach of my business? So that's what I did. And I was one of the first stylists to offer virtual styling services. And it's something that I continue to offer today because it has really benefited my business and helped it to grow. But what I figured out when I first started to try virtual styling services is it's not just as easy as jumping on Skype or jumping on Zoom and meeting with clients and doing consultations. It is actually very much more involved and complex than when I meet with a client in person. It took me a lot of trial and error to create the systems that I have that ensure that I am giving my virtual clients the highest level of services as if they were in the room with me and receiving an in-person consultation. I mean, think about it. How do you make sure that you get accurate measurements when you're not physically there to take the measurements yourself? How do you do a closet audit when you're not physically there to go through the clothing and see what's going to work for your client and what isn't? So it took me a long time to really perfect my virtual services. And it's something that I still find myself tweaking to this day. There's always little adjustments that can make it a better service. But my whole focus was that it needed to be just as high a level service for my virtual clients as it did for my in-person clients and achieve the same results. So, if you are thinking about adding virtual services because you think it's going to be easier than in person, then boy, you've got to think again. A lot of stylists seem to be under that impression. They think, oh, it's less time consuming. There's not as much like effort to put in. I can just sit behind my computer and do online shopping. It's really not that simple. And in fact, it can be more challenging than working with a client in person. So you have to be prepared for that. So you're going to need to create your own systems or learn from somebody else's systems so that you can make sure your consultations, whether it be a body shape analysis consultation, whether it be for personal shopping, whether it be color analysis, they need to work seamlessly. So those systems need to be in place. And you also want to make sure that you're not putting too much of the burden on your clients. And that can actually happen if you don't have the right systems. If you think of a closet audit, we're expecting our clients to do a lot of the physical work, going in and out of their closet, pulling things in and out, trying things on. We can make it easier for them when we are there in person. So we have to have a system that doesn't make it too overwhelming for them because we're doing the service of virtual. Very important that we don't want to overburden and overwhelm our clients. And of course, we want to make sure that these systems will help us achieve the results that our clients are looking for. So it isn't just as simple as turning your computer on and jumping on a call with somebody, and that's how you're going to make your money through virtual styling services. But that being said, you can create the systems and it can be something good for your business. So I don't want that to put you off. I just want to make sure that you are going into this for the right reasons and with an open mind and a clear understanding of what virtual styling does involve. So, what are the other things that we need to be thinking about before we add virtual styling services? Well, one of the things is, do you actually have confidence in your in person styling skills? Now, before you go virtual, this is something that I feel is very important. You need to know how to style in person. You need to know all those nuances of doing a body shape analysis and what you are looking for. You need to have a high degree of confidence in your skills, your general skills as a stylist. If you don't have a lot of experience of styling in person, then this is also something that is going to make it harder for you. Definitely is going to make it more challenging when you have to analyze somebody's body shape and transform that person virtually. So you want to make sure that before you jump into the virtual world, that you've perfected your styling skills, that you have confidence, you feel comfortable, you know what you are doing. And it's going to be so much easier for you to translate those services online and achieve the same level of results. Tools is another important part of virtual styling that you really need to think about and make sure that you have all the right tools that tie into the services you're going to be offering. Will you be able to do a color analysis online because you don't get to use your physical color drapes? So, how are you going to do that color analysis? You need to make sure that you have the right tools for whatever service you are offering, from a color analysis to just a intake consultation, online shopping. You need to have different tools for all of these services when you offer them online. And the good news is the tools are out there. You can get digital color drapes now. That's something that we sell at the Style Academy International. We have digital color drapes that are going to enable you to find your client's color season as accurately as if you were doing it in person. But all your forms and things like that also have to be translated into this virtual world so that your client can complete them without being there with you. The next thing that is important when it comes to virtual styling is, do you have an understanding of the geographical differences in fashion and style? whether you're aware of it or not, I'm sure you all are, but where somebody lives can have a major impact on their personal style and the way they dress. Sometimes it's weather related, sometimes it's culture related. There's so many different things that go into our personal style, and a lot of them do tie into geography. Somebody who lives in, let's say, Miami does not dress the same as somebody who lives in, Boise, Idaho. The climate, the culture of these places is vastly different. And way people dress is actually influenced by where they are living. If you compare a city, let's say Dublin, Ireland, and a city like New York, you're going to see vastly different fashion and style in these two cities. Dublin being a little bit more on the kind of traditional side of things, and New York being a little bit more eclectic and edgy. So, if you are going to be working with people virtually from maybe a different state or even different countries, if you're going to be working internationally, you need to have an understanding of the influences on style in those areas, even if it's just understanding what the weather is. What they're wearing down in Miami in November is not the same as what we're wearing in Boston in November. So having that understanding, a basic understanding, is going to help you to be able to work with clients, nationally, internationally, and grow your business in a virtual way. Another reason why we really need to understand these geographical differences when it comes to style and fashion is because we need to incorporate that in our marketing strategy. If we're going to reach clients and book virtual clients that could be from around the world, whether it be in Australia, whether it be in England or France or Italy, we are going to need to make sure that we are representing those potential clients in our marketing strategies, right? I've talked about this in previous episodes about how potential clients need to feel represented, need to see images that represent them on our website, need to, see the images that represent them in our social media marketing. And virtual styling plays into this too. We need to make sure if we're going to have this international reach or even just this national reach, that we are representing all those different potential clients in those different locations. So virtual styling is going to need a slightly different marketing approach than your in-person services that you might just be marketing to your very small geographical area. It's just another thing that you just need to think about and be prepared for if you're going to go virtual and you're going to make it profitable for your business. Because the last thing we want is you to, go virtual and it not actually benefit your business. Virtual styling, it really is a great way to grow your personal styling business. And it can definitely help you overcome if you have any geographical locations because of where you live, you're in a very small town. Virtual styling could definitely help you. You can grow a very lucrative, successful business by adding on virtual services. It can open up this larger pool of potential clients if you have decided on a very particular defined niche that might not have a large representation where you live. It opens up that pool of potential clients for you. So it definitely has so many benefits to your business. And it's definitely something that I do recommend that you consider as part of your business growth strategy. With the right planning and the right structure, it can be very lucrative addition for you. And now you know the things that you need to consider before doing it. If you are thinking about going virtual and you would like more support to get your services up and running quickly and easily, then I do want to let you know that we have a virtual styling certificate program through the Style Academy International. You'll learn my exact steps to converting your in-person services to virtual services. I'm going to show you all the best practices to ensure that you have the highest quality of services and results for your client. And you'll get all the tools that you need for your services, from digital consultation forms to done for you guides and even digital drapes. It's all part of the virtual styling certificate program. So if you want to know more about that program, head over to the website. It's styleacademyintl.com and check out the certified virtual stylist program. And I'm going to drop that link in the show notes for anybody that is interested. So that's it. That's today's episode. I hope it was helpful. If you are at that process of deciding whether virtual styling is going to be right for you and for your business, it's not always right for everybody, but it can also be something very lucrative. It's definitely worth thinking about. Definitely a good growth strategy if you decide that it is right for you. That's it from me. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you on the next episode. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Business of Style podcast, then don't forget to hit subscribe so you'll be notified when a new episode is available. And of course, if you're looking for additional training and resources to help you in your career as a personal stylist, then be sure to visit my website, styleacademyintl.com.